Okay, load up this thumbnail and check that the audio is working. Let's see here. Switch that over to that. Check this right here. Okay, so bear with me here a sec as I get this stuff set up. Okay, manage videos live. Okay. Edit. Upload thumbnail. This thumbnail. Would have started this an hour ago if I wasn't messing around with a thumbnail for so long, but okay, not treating my food like jeez, I didn't think of the title. Loot and loadouts. Loadouts for Heresy. Loot and loadouts for Heresy. Destiny 2. Sure. Okay. I guess I'll add a description in this live stream. I will be making new loadouts, new weapon loadouts on dim for every possible build. Warlock, Titan, Hunter, for end game PvE in Destiny 2. Heresy episode. Heresy. Activities include the Nether, Sundered Doctrine dungeon, Grandmaster Nightfalls, okay, let me save this real quick so that there's actually a thumbnail attached to the live stream. Okay, what else? Copy some of these tags over. Okay, show. Nope, not AI. Okay, what's the new origin trait? Willing vessel. Time lost. What does it have? World drops. Loot. Okay. Stasis, strand, kinetic, solar, arc, void, primary, special, heavy, builds. I'm probably not going to be getting into builds on this stream, but do something. Something's better than nothing. I could be playing the game instead and actually getting this loot, but I've already got quite a bit, at least out of the Nether. What else? Exotic missions. And other advanced plus, advanced, expert, master level, difficulty, activities. Okay, good enough, whatever. Save that. Okay. Stream contain, nope, no paid promotions, no altered content. Okay. Alright, that should be pretty good. Okay, let me just open up this stream on the PC so I can actually see. In case anybody comments. Bro, why is this on? Okay, turn that off. All right. Okay, so what do I got to do here? Basically, I'm gonna go check the tower real quick, since this is the first time I log in today. But basically, the purpose of this stream is going to be to create my Heresy loadouts, which is something that I've been doing for the past couple seasons. And what I mean by loadout isn't like builds. It has nothing to do with builds, but I mean, of course, I'm going to have builds in mind, but basically, what I like to do so that I can, get the most mileage out of my vault, like all my goodies up in there, I create a loadout for essentially a light and dark, so we have 3 light elements, we have 2 darks plus kinetic. So I make a loadout for a combination of each. So I'm gonna have I'll have like a stasis and an arc loadout, right? So it'll be all stasis, all arc weapons. Then I'll have a stasis and void loadout, so it'll be all stasis and voids. Then I'll have stasis and solar, etc., so on and so forth. So I think it's like 9 loadouts that I have, with basically all of my best weapons for those 2 specific elements, right? Usually I'm using the dark and light loadouts on prismatic builds, and then typically the kinetic and light class will be on core builds, but it's really, it doesn't really matter. It's just so that if I know that it's going to be arc and strand surge that week, for the entire week, for grandmasters, basically everything, right? Whatever it is in GMs is usually the surges for the entire week for all endgame level activities, whether it's master raids, dungeons, etc. So like that loadout comes in handy for essentially the entire week. Wait, what? Oh yeah, my HUD's off because I was making a thumbnail. Where's that? Okay, put that back on. So this isn't necessarily like dungeon prep loadouts, but I am going to make a dungeon loadout. So I'm going to have, actually here, I'll pull it up on my, because I actually have a spreadsheet because I'm a nerd like that. Heresy weapons worksheet. So I've got, yeah, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I've got nine loadouts that have dark and light, basically, and then I've got one that's just like the best of both, and then I'm gonna have probably another loadout that's just for the dungeon. So I'll see what I have time to get into tonight. This is probably just gonna be a couple hour stream until midnight or shortly after. And I've already basically wrote down what I want in every loadout, so I'm basically going to be transferring stuff over from Dim. And already some of my ideas have changed because I've played the Nether quite a bit in the past, well, yesterday mainly. And so now I'm already coming to realize that certain weapons are gonna be more useful than I originally thought. I guess I'll go into the Enclave too in case I need to shoot anything. Okay, so I think I'm going to start with... Well, more people are probably going to come in usually within the half hour or so of stream starting. So I won't start with the most important loadout. I'll start with something like Arc and Stasis, because I don't think Stasis is going to be in the artifact, or it's not in the artifact at all, right? So which means it's probably not going to be... It's probably not going to be in any of the weekly surges. Like, what's the GM this week? GM... Oh, well, there is no GM, obviously. I don't have GMs for, like, another month. Nightfall. Advanced is the same as Expert and Master, right? So it's Arc and Strand. Okay, perfect. So basically... Since Arc and Strand are surging this week, it means that having a full loadout with all of my best Arc and Strand weapons is going to be useful across any build all week long. And generally all season long, because there's a bunch of Arc and Strand stuff in the artifact here. Right. So yeah, a lot to think about, but I already planned most of this out. So if I look at my spreadsheet here, where I've got, well, I guess I'll just start with Arc and Arc and Strand. Okay, so let me just copy these columns over here and bring them over here. Okay, Arc and Strand, bring that over there. Okay, so basically on my spreadsheet, I would show it here if I wasn't on my PS5, but it's kind of a boring spreadsheet. It's nothing fancy. It's basically as good as writing down on a piece of paper. Let me just get down here real quick. And actually what I could do is, because I still have my Arc and Strand loadout from last season, I could probably transfer that over and see how it's going to change. So let's see here. Arc and Strand. Okay, apply to Titan. Yeah, and actually it's good that I'm going to be in the Enclave, because there's also a couple weapons that was planning on tweaking. Okay, so while it does that, I can look at my Arcane Strand. Okay, so first I have like all of my primaries written down. So I'm gonna pick 2 arc primaries and I'm gonna pick 2 strand primaries, and that's it. So let me look for them here. What did I have before? This does not look right. Dim is like constipated constantly. Arcane Strand. Oh, it's because I deleted an old dead grammar, I guess. Item requested was not found. So I still have too much stuff here. Well, Alethanum's not supposed to be. Get that out of here. Arc and Strand. What's out of place here? Chill inhibitor. Get this out of here. How am I already out of space? I just spent like 20 hours cleaning my vault. Let's see. I could probably just bring some stuff over onto Warlock. Inventory. Yeah, I could just bring all these adamantites over to my hunter. Then I've got all of these psychopomps. I can bring some of those over to my hunter. Sure. Okay. Get this out of here. Get it out. Get it out. Okay. So this is my Arcane Strand loadout from last season. I don't think I used Scatter Signal once. I definitely used the Call at times, but we didn't have Strand and the Artifact last season. So that's not really telling you much. But what I'm planning on doing for this season... Okay, so 2 arc primaries are going to be allowed to be in this loadout. It's going to be Pyroelectric, and I think I picked Tarnished Metal. Okay, so this can go. What else? Ideally, I make enough space in my vault so I can actually like have one character completely free. I could do that. Take this stuff over to my hunter. Take this over to hunter. Take this over to hunter. Ergo sums. How about I take all these ergo sums over? Okay. Okay, take these chill inhibitors over here. Take that there. Okay, how much space did that make me? 684. Okay, so Tarnished Metal and Pyroelectric are on here, and then I'm picking I'm thinking the Adamantite is going to be pretty good this season as far as strand weapons go. So I'm going to have 2 strand primaries on this loadout. And I picked Adamantite and Imminence. So the Rufus can go. Fang of Your Ute can go. I'm pretty sure the Call is going to be on this loadout. Same with Final Warning. I don't think Navigator needs to be. Tusk of the Boar, maybe Swordbreaker. It's only if I'm on 1-2 punch. So I'm missing Adamantite. Oh, well, I guess I'll just take an Adamantite over as a placeholder, because what's my best one? And I do have like a God roll list already put together, so I've essentially looked at like 37 or around 30 different weapons and figured out what God rolls I want on all of them, and I wrote it down, and I basically I gave a priority number to specific weapons and rolls. So actually the weapons that are on the thumbnail of this video are basically all the first priority loot. So Abyssal Edge, Adept, obviously, because it's a strand waveframe sword. Cynosure, because it's the first strand rocket that's actually a meta frame, being an adaptive frame. Eyes Unveiled, it's the first Void Burst linear that can get you more total damage thanks to triple tap. And then there's obviously Hezen Vengeance, and I'm going to want like 3 different Hezen Vengeances probably, kind of like how I have 3 different Apexes. Then there's going to be Lotus Eater, but that could be another month before we see that. I imagine it's probably going to be in like the first or second week of GMs whenever that comes into rotation. So even though it's kind of like first on the priority list, it's not lootable yet. Then other first priority weapons, Praetus Revenge is going to be absolutely crazy. And then I also put Psychopomp, but realistically Psychopomp could probably be like second priority. It's not really a first priority. It's just going to be well, it has a couple of interesting roles, so I'll get more into that stuff as I start building these loadouts. But as far as an Adamantite, I wanted to see what I wrote down for the Adamantite that I want. Let's see. Adamantite. Okay, I put Adamantite as a second priority. Also mainly because like it largely depends on the Nether and what they do with the health regen, because I know on like day 1 the health regen was like insane. Like you don't even know what the gameplay is like. It's not like normal Destiny 2. Like you got like super high health, no health recovery. So having a support frame AR could be pretty useful. So the Adamantites that I'm interested in are Reciprocity and Circle of Life. I'm definitely going to want both of those on the same weapon. And then I would also consider keeping a Demo or Slice with Frenzy. So, what kind of Adamantites do I even have? It's in alphabetical order on dim. I can do a comparison. Okay, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Adamantites. I don't have any of the rolls that I want yet. Rapidly healing allies grants this weapon. See, the thing is, I would pretty much just use Adamantite inside of the Nether right now. So I think Reciprocity would probably be... Reciprocity... I have an Attrition Orbs. I mean, I could just keep the slice tear as a placeholder, so I'll bring that over. So this isn't the roll that I want, but I'll let this be a placeholder on this loadout right here. Okay, so Adamantite and Imminence, those are the only two primaries that I'm going to be carrying on this loadout. Okay, I want to see if I can get rid of all this other stuff. Okay. Alright, and then I'm gonna pick two exotics. Normally I'd like try to pick one arc exotic and one strand exotic, and this is primaries, by the way, so I'm still at primary. So like I basically, how I decide how many primaries versus specials that I'm gonna pick depends on well, I mean, it scales to how I normally build out my loadouts. So normally I run special primary heavy, obviously, right? And I just freaking got rid of that. With an exotic as well, right? So if you put together a loadout, basically fill your character up with all of the best weapons there, and then you want a ratio that is dispersed properly so that you can essentially always have special primary and an exotic, right? So that's kind of how I figured I need 2 legendary primaries for each element, right? So I got 2 dark primaries and I got 2 light primaries, and that means I can have one of each for primary exotics, but because there's not really any arc primary exotics that I'm interested in, I just went with two strand. So I don't like, of course this is subject to change, but I'm gonna take Wishkeeper as part of this loadout because we have very we basically don't have primary anti-champ mods now, right, with this entire artifact. So it's going to be useful to use exotics that have either intrinsic champion stunning capabilities, or they just have build synergy or keywords that can actually stun unstops, like Chill Clip, for example, or Wicked Implement, or Wishkeeper can suspend. Right, so there's going to be, I'm basically going to have Wish Ender on every single loadout that involves kinetic weapons and malfeasance. Right, because I'm not always going to want to use a glaive, and I'm not always going to want to use a sidearm. So I'll have those in there as options, basically. But so for the 2 primary exotics that I'm going to go for on this strand and arc loadout, I'm just going to go with 2 strand. Final warning because we got anti-barrier sidearm. We also have horde shuttle, right? And we got some strand stuff in the artifact. And especially when I'm on my warlock, I'm running final warning quite a bit. Actually, I want to say all of my Vespers host runs on warlock were, I was basically using final warning with usually a variation of necrotic and star eaters, or necrotic and synthos, with final warning, velocity baton, and then like edge transit and nova bomb. And then I was basically playing like a Titan with like lightning surge and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, okay, so that's it for primaries. That's all the primaries I'm going to hold. So next I'm getting into legendary specials. So I'm allowing myself to pick 4 strand specials and 4 arc specials for this arc and strand loadout. And I basically have to consider, okay, I need area of effect / DOT, right? So area denial, basically. Because I think it's just such a good weapon type now that you basically have to have some type of area denial GL on every single loadout. Um, that gives you the freedom to play Transcendence or play Prismatic, and you've always got some kind of automatic way to build up your Transcendence meter, right? Also, doing damage over time, like in a damage rotation on a boss, very useful. Having a legendary Wither Horde to be doing damage as you're using your heavy to do damage, so that passive background damage is useful there as well. So for like legendary specials, AoE DOT, it's literally just Psychopomp, right? And then add clear, like I need to consider add clear, right? So that's waveform GLs, rocket sidearms. You know what? Okay, I already wrote down what I'm taking over, so I'll just take them all over here real quick. And so I got Indebted Kindness, which I already have. Psychopomp. If I can find that. Actually, I should just do this on dim. Yeah, I'll just make the loadout on dim real quick. Loadout. Okay, Arc and Strand. I'll just edit last season's because why not? Indebted Kindness, Psychopomp, Loaded Question, Iterative Loop. Okay. Imminence. Get rid of that. Final Warning can stay. Okay. Yeah, I'm just adding everything on dim because that way I can save the loadout on dim. Adamite.
Hello,
what's the Adamite?
New legendary weapons. Good thing we cleared the vault XD.
Yeah, I know. I'm already having trouble with my vault. Ironically. But how are you doing, Giovanni? Are you excited for... What are you excited for as far as loot goes? Okay, I think it's this 2007. Yes, I'll just keep the Sliced Terror. Okay, Psychopomp. What's the Psychopomp god roll that I'm looking for? So I thought about Psychopomp quite a bit yesterday. Let me bring one over to my character real quick. I want Pugilist, Rolling Storm, and I want Envious, Full Court.
Seasonal shiny adepts.
Yeah, me too. I haven't got one yet. I played the Nether for like a good 2-3 hours last night, both solo, and then I did expert and I did like advanced. I did some match made ones and I did solo, and I've picked up maybe like 4 masterworked Nether weapons, but I haven't got any adepts yet. I don't even know like how you get the adepts. But Psychopomp. Let's see, where's Psychopomp at? Yeah, okay, I'll bring this one over as a placeholder because I'm pretty sure. Oh, hello. Oh, you look good. You look good. Okay, save changes. Apply. Yeah, so for this, although I just heard some stuff about elemental honing today, so at first I was looking at this perk just thinking it was probably not going to be great. See, and that's weird. I got Runneth Over and Willing Vessel on this one, which is sometimes you just get one, sometimes you get both, sometimes it's masterwork, sometimes it's not. Sometimes you got double perks, sometimes you don't. There's like what 3-4 variants of Psychopomp that you can get. But yeah, has anybody got adepts yet? And if so, how'd you get it? Like, what activity were you doing? Was it like, is it only on expert, and do you have to complete like secret challenges or something? Okay, go back to my spreadsheet.
Shinies get 2 origin trait.
Okay. And I guess this maybe the double perked ones do as well, because this one's not shiny. But yeah, so I figured that I basically want 2 psychopomps. Looking at all the rolls on them on dim. But some like it's going to be hard to delete a lot of them because I just don't know enough about the weapon yet. But I basically figured 1 for utility kind of and 1 for
Yet,
DPS.
do harder mode seasonal activity.
Harder mode. You have to do expert. Okay. Yeah, I did expert last night. Which was actually kind of funny because it queued me into. Oh no, I wasn't queued in because I think I had to LFG it. And I joined some people that were already doing expert, and when I joined there was like 3 revives tokens left, so I was like, okay, that should be interesting. And then so both the teammates died, and then there was no lives left, and so like I basically joined this LFG like halfway. They were already halfway through it and had no lives left, and I ended up soloing the rest of it. Like it was basically not any more difficult on expert than it is to just do the solo version of the Nether. So that was my first clear of a single expert activity. But yeah, so the psychopomp, I think I wrote here that I want rolling storm. Oh yeah, okay. So one of the roles for Psychopomp that you can get is Rolling Storm, which that's the one that allows you to build up stacks of Bolt Charge. So I figured that you could basically use this thing as a tool for Bolt Charge builds. So like especially Storm's Keep on Titan. Kind of in the same way that we use like Lost Signal and Velocity Baton to build up Transcendence. You can use this one. I mean, yeah, you could use this to build up Light Transcendence for prismatic builds, of course, but you can also use it to build up your Bolt Charge builds. The thing is, I don't have. Or do I have Rolling Storm anywhere? I might. If I do, I'll bring it over. Compare. No, apparently I don't have a Rolling Storm Psychopomp yet. But yeah, so if I get a Rolling Storm Psychopomp, I'll probably keep it with Pugilist, right? So if I have Pugilist, Rolling Storm, that's going to be like a really good Bolt Charge weapon, right? Because technically I can get melee energy, which synergizes with Bolt Charge builds as well. Like basically all Bolt Charge builds that aren't necessarily Storm's Keep, because I think Storm's Keep is the only way that you can shoot Bolt Charge out of your weapons. So Pugilist Rolling Storm would be like just a good universal role for Bolt Charge builds. Then I figured I would have a DPS one just in case, like just throw it into a damage rotation. So in that case, I guess Envious Arsenal, because there's no auto loading on this, right? And then you want a damage perk. So this can roll with like Full Court and what else? Full Court, Frenzy, Elemental Honing. I do have an Ambitious Assassin with Frenzy as well, and the Willing Vessel is kind of interesting. I think that had some kind of like synergy with. Oh no, it was Runneth Over. I was thinking if I had Ambitious Assassin with Frenzy and Runneth Over, then I could probably overflow the mag by like what? I could probably get like 4 in the mag or something crazy like that. right? So like Ambitious and Frenzy might be a pretty good DPS roll too. Here, I'll bring this over. But see, this one doesn't have Runneth Over, so that's not what I want. But Frenzy is nice to synergize with the Ambitious Assassin. But anyways, I guess I'll just... Envious, I mean, Demo... I don't even really want to use this one as a placeholder. I think I'm going to use this one more probably for now until I get the one that I actually want. But yeah. Okay, so right, so back to picking 4 arc special weapons. So Indebted Kindness, that's number 1. Psychopomp number 2. Indebted Kindness obviously is going to break barriers this season and is always good for ad clear. Then I definitely need a fusion rifle or 2 that are arc, right? Sniper. I could have potentially brought over a sniper as well. Because we do have barrier sniper. It's just, like, if we have barrier sidearm, like barrier rocket sidearm, I'm going to go with that 95% of the time over a sniper. But yeah, so iterative loop and loaded questioners, that's what I was going to pick for my fusion rifles and test them both out. There's also this Midas Reckoning though, which is pretty darn good, but it's situational because it's surrounded. But I'll bring that over, and then I'll bring this. Too bad we can't enhance that. Okay, so there's the 4 arc legendary specials that I'm going to carry in this loadout. Iterative loop, like I don't even have particle reconstruction unlocked yet. I basically haven't done fuck all. I mean, this is probably going to take me like 3 weeks to do this, or 2 weeks, like just because I tend to kind of slack at the beginning of every season and just absorb the information. But yeah, I hear particle reconstruction is like giving a massive buff to fusion rifles and linears, so you're definitely going to want fusions of all elements and types in every single weapon loadout, right? So iterative loop is, I mean, you could use it a little bit for ad clear. It is a nice quick way to apply jolt even to bigger targets, and it is a rapid fire frame. So although it doesn't have any good damage perks, like sustained damage, it is still the best frame, and it is still a very snappy feeling weapon, and it could synergize pretty well with the artifact still, right? So this one would be good for applying jolt to bigger enemies and kind of ad clearing, right? I guess more ad clearing, like beefy targets. Like if there's a lot of orange bars, yellow bars, I can use this. But if I'm going to be doing like any kind of sustained damage to bosses or champs, even like if I have to shoot more than like 4 or 5 shots in a row, then I'll probably want to use loaded question. I can use demo on a grenade build to avoid reloads, or I can just use auto loading. I mean, it's got 6 in the mag, so that's not too bad. With arrowhead and liquid coils, so I mean, this is just like a total damage machine, right? High impacts. As far as I know, high impacts are basically just as good as rapid fires on DPS and total damage. I think slightly more on total damage, and I think rapid fires slightly more on DPS, but it also depends on what perks you have on what, and also like what's enhanceable on what. So this Adept Nightfall weapon doesn't get any enhanced perks. I just gotta let my dog in. Oh, where is he? All the dogs want to hang out with me in here. But yeah, and speaking of champs, like Stunning Recovery, hello, very nice. I mean, if you can get Stunning Recovery to proc on a champ, then you're getting more mileage out of Controlled Burst automatically. So, yeah. So I'll keep that one around for big targets, keep that one around for littler targets. Tentatively, Lucy, I just let you in. Okay. Get out of here. Okay, so now I need 4 strand. What's going on with the stream? It looks like it's bugging out. No? Okay. Okay, so I wrote pick 4 special strand weapons, so it's going to be the Call. Scatter Signal, obviously. Oh, and there's a new role for Scatter Signal that I think I might want to craft for this season as well. The Nether is full of subjugators, boss tier, mini boss tier, and that means that you want to start looking at your weapons that have under over. And Scatter Signal actually rolls under over. So would you rather have Controlled Burst, where it takes, wasting the first shot to get it to proc, and then, and then after the second shot, then you get the 20% buff. Let me take that over. Or you can just have 50% extra damage to subjugators all the time with under over, right? See, the thing is, I have two scatter signals. I have one with overflow controlled burst, and I have one with slice controlled burst. I think maybe instead of crafting a third scatter signal, I could just leave the controlled burst to overflow, and I could put under over on this one. It's kind of tempting to do it right now, but I still generally prefer the slice controlled burst, even if I'm using controlled burst. I don't know. I think I have like 10 alloys. I think scatter signal is pretty much going to be like meta all season long. It's locked and it's equipped, so it's not going to let me do anything. Okay, unlock it. Yeah, so you can put... Imagine if this thing had attrition orbs over here. It also has deconstruct, that's interesting. But yeah, it has under over, so this is what I want on my scatter signal for running around the Nether. That would be the best possible scatter signal that you can use versus subjugators. So yeah, it's tempting. Yeah, because I do have the overflow control burst. I wouldn't really be wasting anything by doing that. I'm just gonna do it, and then I'll test it, and then maybe show it in a video or something, or on a live stream. All right. So I'll keep that one on there for now, and then I'm going to take the Call, and I'm going to take Neem's Lance. So I have at least one sniper. Neem's Lance. Where's that at? Up here. Reconstruct, deconstruct, or reconstruct high ground. Probably reconstruction high ground would be the more universal choice to go with there. Okay, so I've got 3 strand specials. I've got 4 arc specials. Okay. Let me just make sure I did that on dim too. Arc and strand. Okay, scatter signal. Where is scatter signal at? This one's 2,000, so it's that one. Okay. And I have the call. And I did want to do some tweaks to the call as well, because Rocket Sidearms got nerfed since the call, like after the call was meta essentially. Okay, and then Neem's Lance. What's this Neem's Lance? 1900. Okay, so save. I need to add the fusions to my dim loadout. Okay, so iterative loop. I'm a little skeptical that I'm actually going to use iterative loop, but where is it? Okay, how about I just type in arc? Is arc. There. Is arc. There. Okay, save changes. Okay, what else do I have to add to this loadout? Arc and strand, arc and strand. Okay, exotic specials for arc and strand. What am I putting in here? Okay, I put in Xderis, even though GLs aren't in the meta, or in the artifact, I should say. I think Xderis was still buffed to a point where it's actually just good. Regardless, because of the fact that you can blind anything based on kill or sustained damage. So even if you're just like 1v1ing an unstop, you can just blind them with this. With Xderis. I don't think you have to be amplified or anything to spawn the moths, so I mean that's pretty useful. And then I put forward slash with the Season of the Plunder exotic. What the hell was that thing called? The one that makes ionic traces. Tempest Cascade or something like that. Where is it? Oh, there is this tessellation too. I keep forgetting about this thing. I don't even think I ever finished the catalyst. Yeah, I didn't do anything with this. Has anybody even tested this? Like I've seen Aztecross doing a bit of testing and Aegis, but I don't think I saw anybody test tessellation. I may have missed it, but it's a shame this thing seems to just been forgotten. But I don't have it in my loadouts. Okay, I need to open up a second dim window because this is just a pain. Okay, where is that arc exotic fusion rifle from Season of the Plunder? There it is. Okay, I'm thinking this is going to be pretty good this season. So, I mean, I might just go with either Xderis or Delicate Tomb. Oh, Delicate Tomb. Tempest Cascade is the actual perk. Okay, that's why. So I wasn't 100% wrong. Okay, and then what did I pick for strand? Euphony, which I'm fortunate enough to have on my 4th clear of Salvation's Edge, which is like the fastest I've ever gotten any raid exotic. Which is also good because I really did not like Salvation's Edge as far as farming goes. Okay, Euphony. I did see some of the damage testing on Euphony today that others put up, like Cross and whatnot, and I think he put out almost 1 million damage on Atheon with, I think it was like 800k or something like that, but that's on Swarmers only, with Horde Shuttle and all the strand stuff from the artifact. Which was basically kind of middle of the road, even for special weapons. Like, basically, a lot of things were outperforming Euphony. So, I mean, especially if you're not going to be on, like, a Swarmers build, then Euphony is probably not a great choice. So, this is probably going to get thrown out of this loadout eventually. It's just tentatively, I'm just going to throw it in there so I have something done. Okay, so that's it. I've got space for one more arc and one more strand because I don't want to hold 10 weapons on a loadout. I'll have one free spot so that I could actually like open engrams from vendors and pick up loot and delete it and not constipate dim all the time. So when I make these loadouts, like this one's all arc, all strand, it's basically going to be 27 weapons, 9 in each slot. So if I had to pick, what am I missing here? I guess technically I could add another legendary special weapon, or I can add another.
What about Void? It has less artifact synergies.
I'm gonna get to Void. So basically what I'm doing is I'm making 10 loadouts, I'm making 9 loadouts at base. Because this is just what I do every season. So I'll have like a full arc and strand loadout, full arc and stasis, full void and strand, full void and stasis. So light and dark, right? Like I'm not going to have like a solar and an arc loadout, if that makes sense. I'll have like a kinetic and an arc loadout. Yeah, so basically I'm picking weapons that can fit in the top slot, kinetic, strand, stasis, and I'm mixing that with a light weapon type. So I'll probably go to Void next because I know Void's in the artifact, and I'm pretty excited to start going through some of the Void weapons, especially thinking about my Warlock. But yeah. Okay, so what do I not have on dim? Exderis, I need to add Exderis to this dim loadout. I need to add Delicate Tomb. Okay. And then I need to add Euphony. Okay, save changes. So, I mean, I could add, like, I don't have an arc sniper. I mean, it could be useful to have an arc sniper or waveframe even, for ad clear. But, I mean, I got a rocket sidearm, which can also break barriers, so... Unfortunately, it might be another entire episode where you don't really need a waveframe GL. But I mean, I could just throw it in there. But I don't have a sniper in this slot. That's the only issue. I have shoot to loot in this slot. I don't have shoot to loot in this slot. I guess I could add Tusk of the Boar. Yeah. Slice chain reaction. Okay. Tusk of the Boar. And I can add a arc sniper. In which case, I think I only have one arc sniper, so that thing. Save changes. Okay, apply. Edit. Okay, as far as heavy weapons go, okay, so that's kinetic slot done, energy slot done, arc and strand loadouts, right? So there should be enough variety in there to basically fit into any arc and strand type of build. Then for heavies, I've got written down here on my spreadsheet. I've got 6 legendaries picked out. And I typically try to pick 6 legendaries and 3 exotics, right? Just so that way it's kind of balanced at a 1-to-3 ratio, because you only ever have 1 exotic on at a time. So when I'm considering my heavies, I need to make sure I have burst. I need burst damage for bosses, so rockets, heavy GLs. I need precision. For bosses, so linears, right? I need swords for bosses, and then I need sword for utility, and then I need add clear, so machine guns, right? Or waveframe GL, like dimensional, for example. But there's nothing on. I don't have a hullabaloo, so there's not going to be a waveframe on this. But I have a ton of arc and strand machine guns, so it makes it kind of hard to just pick 1 or 2, because I need something for everything. So for rockets, between strand and arc, I'm gonna go Crux, and then I would say the new Cynosure. You could put a placeholder in there for Cynosure, but it's going to be a while before I get a God Roll Cynosure, and I still think that Crux Termination is going to be the superior arc rocket. Right, so I'll do that. Then I also have Bittersweet. Is this the double one? No, that's the single one. Okay, that's the one I want. Okay, so there we go. I've got bosses for arc damage. Done. Crux Termination, Bittersweet for burst damage. Anyway, explosive burst damage, you know what I mean. Then I need Summon Bonum for sword damage for bosses. I know Bequest is nice, but you're not always going to be surrounded when you need to use a sword on a boss, so I'll just go with the Summon Bonum for the universal roll. Where's that at? And I'm going to pick this one because this thing is friggin' amazing. Like, with attrition orbs, I mean, basically giving you, like, lament. It's like healing you as you do damage if you have recuperation. Chaos Reshaped, I mean, you're in combat for 12 seconds, you're always going to have a 35% damage buff. It's the next best thing to Surrounded, right? I've got 2 other Summon Bonums that I can use in my vault anyway, so it's just going to stay on this, live on this loadout for now. Okay, then I've got Half-Truths for Eager Edge, and I've always had Unrelenting on this, which is perfect because the Nether don't heal you, so hopefully Unrelenting does. That's the one thing I'm not sure about with the Nether and the modifiers that they put in there. It seems like, okay, some of our healing abilities and perks work, some don't. Like, I wish it was just attrition. Like, they could have just made the Nether have the attrition modifier, but I think because that's literally all it is. It's like rebranded. Like, the way that they rebranded seasons into episodes is the same thing. It's like what they just did with the Nether. They just rebranded the attrition's master Nightfall modifier, and decided to call it Healing Wells, right? But then on top of that, they also like just messed with your health bar and essentially the entire sandbox. So that's the one thing I don't like about the Nether, is it's like, well, if I test builds and weapons in the Nether, then I basically just have to throw all that out the window when I actually go into other endgame activities. Like, I want to use the Nether as a test ground. Like, that's why I like Terminal Overload, for example. Higher difficulty enemies. You're not like, you just go in there with your standard base values. It's not like, oh, all of a sudden you're 3 times tankier, but you heal 3 times less effectively. It's like, no, just let me just play the game with the normal sandbox. If you want to take health regen out of the equation entirely, just use the attrition modifier. That's it. Anyways, okay. Watchful Eye. I think I included Watchful Eye, which is probably going to have a placeholder for now. Wait, how do I not have a... arc linear. I heard Queen Breaker is pretty much meta, so as far as when I go to pick the 3 exotics, it's most likely going to be Queen Breaker in there, so it means that I might not necessarily need another arc linear. Thing is, I have Pro Memoria, and I can pick. I was going to pick Thunderlord anyway, so instead of Watchful Eye, how about I just do Line in the Sand? Because Line in the Sand or Storm Chaser, and my Line in the Sand I think might be better. Yeah. Okay, where is that? Line in the Sand. Way too far. I already looked at all the rolls on this thing, and I pretty much figured this was just going to be an automatic delete.
Storm Chaser, your favorite.
Yeah, it is. But it's just got Firing Line, whereas that Line in the Sand that I have has Bait and Switch, so I don't know. I know they're 2 different frames, but... ugly sight. It's actually like, I thought this was just going to be Chain of Command 2.0. Remember the ritual weapon? It's a little all over the place. Oh, it's shaking a lot. Like, it doesn't seem like it has really bad recoil. It's just the visual recoil. It's just like vibrating. I don't know what I have on this thing either, but I basically looked at all the rolls and on Light GG, and I figured it was just going to be garbage. But now that I know Elemental Honing is like up to a 50% damage buff, God, this is ugly. It's basically Crux Termination, the machine gun. Yeah, Elemental Honing up to 50%, but you got to do so much to get that. I think to get the 50% damage buff, like, you have to damage an enemy with all 5 types of damage. Like, you have to do solar damage, arc damage, void damage, strand damage, stasis.
35%.
Okay. Okay, yeah, yeah, I wasn't sure. But either way, like, the amount of stuff that you have to do. Right, yeah, okay, I remember seeing that. Yeah, it definitely sounds like it'd be more useful on kinetic, because I think on kinetic you can get like 20% extra damage from doing 2 types of damage types. So like you can I'm curious, like on Consecration on Titan, because you're doing arc damage with your knockout and you're doing solar damage at the same time, so that would automatically give you a 20% buff to Elemental Honing on kinetic weapons, is what I'm thinking. But if you also like throw in a Frenzy Blade or throw a Tangle or something, then it's all of a sudden like a 25 or 30% damage buff, so it's pretty easy on kinetic weapons. But anyways, like, I looked at this thing and I just figured I'm gonna delete every single one of them. But it's an aggressive frame, and it's the only stasis aggressive frame now. So why is this on my character? I think I just brought it over from the vault out of curiosity, because I got sidetracked because there's like 80 new weapons and it's hard to stay on track. Okay. So what was I looking for? Line in the Sand. Yeah, so for this stream, I'm probably just gonna do the Arc and Void loadout. So just all Arc and Void, or sorry, Arc and Strand weapons, and then I'll do a Void. I don't know, what should I do? Void and, like, I'm not gonna do all 9 loadouts on stream because it's gonna be repetitive, right? Because I'm always like, whatever arc weapons that I put on this loadout are probably gonna be the same ones that I put on like the Arc and Stasis loadout. So I'm not going to show that on stream. So I might do, since this is Arc and Strand, I might do Void and Stasis. And then I might do Solar. I might do Solar and Kinetic, or something like that. I usually do. I usually have solar and kinetic like on my warlock at all times. Um, yeah, yeah. So I might do that. Okay, line in the sand is right here. Wait, why do I not have scintillation on this loadout? Like, I guess I just didn't finish. But obviously, you're gonna need scintillation. And then Pro Memoria is just like the new Watchful Eye is pretty good. Like, I like it, but I don't like. It's got Killing Tally. It's got Overflow. It's got Surrounded. Um, this field prep jolting feedback was one of the roles that I wrote down that I'd want. This is just a universally good role for champ content. Endgame in general, have your ammo go a lot further. Fast reload. So I mean, this is one of the roles that I was planning on keeping. It's just I'm going to be very apprehensive about masterworking and doing like a tier 3 enhanced perks on anything until like I see what I get for adepts or double rolls, right? So it might only be like towards the end of the season before I actually start like doing tier 3 enhancements. But yeah, this was on my list. I think I had like 2 or 3 watchful eyes on my list.
Do you know how many shots for jolting on machine guns?
No, I don't. But I imagine it's still going to be good on overloads. And this season's interesting too. That like I like the fact that they didn't put primaries in the artifact for champ mods because it kind of forces you to be creative. So like basically, I'm going to have pyroelectric propellant, that or noxious vetiver on every single endgame loadout because. That and like chill clip on specials like Tanash's. Mind you, that's a special, but yeah, I mean, jolting feedback is basically the only answer on primary weapons for stunning overloads. And then for the other champs, like I'm going to be carrying Wish Ender around. Like on this loadout, because it's just Strand and Arc, I'm going to throw Wish Keeper in here because then I can stun unstops, right? Okay, so Wicked. Why did I write Wicked? Maybe I just meant Scintillation. Okay. Oh, yeah, Wicked Sister. Duh. Okay, so I was going to put a Wicked Sister on here. This one right here. Okay. And I need a legendary machine gun. I mean, ideally I would have an arc and a strand, but it just seems like overkill at that point. Like I'd rather have a little bit more versatility in my heavy slot for bosses and stuff like that. Like I could already use my sword for ad clear with Eager Edge and Unrelenting anyway, and Thunderlord technically. Wicked Sisters. Okay, so Wicked Sisters, Scintillation, Pro Memoria. I mean, line in the sand. I should not have line. Like if I'm gonna be using a linear out of this loadout, it's gonna be Scintillation, right? Unless it's actually a vehicle, a boss coded as a vehicle, but that's highly unlikely. Okay, Half Truths I already have. Pro Memoria. Yeah, I think gotta go Pro Memoria. Because it's basically like if I had to pick one machine gun out of Strand and Arc, it's either going to be Pro Memoria, Song of Your Ute, or the new Watchful Eye, I think. because the new Watchful Eye is going to be able to be overcharged basically all season. Thanks, I think, because isn't Willing Vessel in the seasonal artifact? Time lost weapons are overcharged. Subjugation weapons are overcharged, so that must be the dungeon weapons. Oh, I guess not. That's weird. This is the second season in a row that they don't let the seasonal weapons. Well, actually, no, that's not true. Dark Ether. Except I don't think Dark Ether weapons were overcharged at all last season either. They just had their own unique buffs, like conductive cosmic crystal. So like if you applied a stasis debuff to an enemy, then you can do more damage with Dark Ether weapons. But there was no like overcharged like modifier for Dark Ether weapons. They did the same thing this season. Normally they've always included the seasonal origin trait weapons as being overcharged. Like there was a mod for it. But yeah. Echoes or Revenant, they didn't do that. Same thing this time. So it looks like it's just the dungeon weapons and the raid weapons, and that's it.
There is overload machine guns, so all of them overcharged, right?
Yeah. Yep, that is true. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, there's that. Like I don't know. Tentatively, it's do I keep Line in the Sand on here, or do I replace it with Song of Your Youth? Well, what are the exotics that I picked? Because I've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm only supposed to pick 6 legendaries. Thunderlord and Darcy. I don't even have the catalyst for Queenbreaker. And I saw some, like I heard Darcy was going to be insane, but I don't know, from some of the damage testing I saw done that crossed it on Darcy, didn't look amazing. And I think I deleted Darcy anyway. Oh, there's Acrius too, though. And Acrius just got buffed. It's just I don't think it's going to be like something I'm going to use like frequently. So I'll just pull it from the vault if I want to use it. Do I even have Queenbreaker? I think I deleted Queenbreaker too. Yeah. Let's see. Exotic. Power. Where is Queenbreaker? There's Darcy. Darcy doesn't have a catalyst, does it? Queenbreaker. Not enough. What do you mean there's not enough space? Oh, on my character, I guess. I definitely have enough vault space, but I'm gonna store Darcy. And then claim Queenbreaker real quick, just so I have it in the vault. Power. Okay, do I have the catalyst for it or not? I don't even have the catalyst. I can't even do the catalyst because I don't have it. How do you even get the catalyst? That's kind of weird that I don't have it. If I have to play PvP to get the catalyst, then I don't even care if this thing's going to be meta all season. I'm not going to use it. Okay, so well, it's not going to my loadout. I guess it's just going to be Thunderlord. Normally I would pick like 3 exotics and 6 legendaries, but I mean, as far as we don't have any strand exotics, as far as arc exotics go, I've got listed on my list. I've got Thunderlord, Grand Overture, Legend of Acrius, Anarchy, Darcy, Queenbreaker, Prospector, Wardcliff. The only one that I'd be inclined to put on there that's not Thunderlord would be Legend of Acrius or Anarchy, probably, for more general gameplay. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna deal with one exotic on this for now. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, 8 legendaries and 1 exotic. It is what it is. So dim. I just need to update this into dim. And this is going to be my Arc and Strand loadout. If I want to hop on the game on any build that is using Arc and Strand, if it's Arc and Strand surging that week, perfect. Then I can just hop onto any character, load all these weapons over from dim onto that character, and then I can basically build craft with that whole set of weapons. And if for some reason I don't have what I need out of this loadout, which basically covers all bases, I've got a good ratio of primaries, good ratio of specials, artifact synergy type weapons, weapons for doing burst damage versus bosses, mini bosses, ranged, close range, mid range. Yeah, I would basically have enough weapon variety here to build craft into any Arc and Strand type of build or modifiers. Okay, so I just need to save the heavies and then save the loadout, and then Arc and Strand is done. And then it's probably going to get tweaked several times throughout Heresy. Okay, so Bittersweet was on there. Thunderlord. I have tested Thunderlord in the Nether, and it's pretty good on the Tormentors and the Subjugators with bolt charge stacks. Pretty good. Crux Termination. Okay. What else? Summum Bonum Adept. What else? Scintillation. Okay. Line in the Sand. Promemoria. Yep. Line in the Sand, where are you? Boom. Okay. Wicked Sister. Okay, that's done. Save changes. 27 weapons. Perfect. Okay, so next I'll do Void. I'll do Void and Stasis, even though there's not much to do with Stasis this season. I'm thinking that all of the weekly surges are just going to be Strand, Arc, and Void, probably, right? We're probably not going to see Solar or Stasis at all this season, is my guess. Yeah, so I'll do Void and Stasis next, and then I'll do Solar and Kinetic. And then obviously, like, when I do the Arc and Kinetic loadout, I'll be able to use, like, all the Arc... It's just going to be Arc Heavies and Arc Energies. That's it, right? And it's going to be all Kinetics here. So, yeah, it won't be as mixed. So I'll be able to have a little bit more freedom. Okay, so let me pull over the old Void and Stasis loadout from last season. Where's that at? All weapons, Void and Stasis. Apply. Oh, I didn't have a glaive on that build either. I should have had. I think I had planned on putting Nezrex on there. Instead, I put that sniper rifle. I should have put Nezrex Whisper. Since glaives are in the artifact and everything. And Nezrex Whisper is a pretty good glaive. I'll probably make the change on dim. Before I end the stream, I'll probably I'll show all the loadouts again. Yeah, Arcan Strand. I mean, I'm kind of tempted to pull Delicate Tomb out, but I'll take out the Sniper and I'll put in Nezrex. Also, I didn't have Ergo. I could have put on the Arc Conductor Ergo Sum, but okay, where's Nezrex? There we go. Okay, so this is Arcan Stasis. Okay, let me just equip. Get rid of this. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Okay, so that's my Void and Stasis weapons loadout from Revenant. I didn't use this thing once, I don't think. I guess it's going to be hitting even harder now. Well, it's not destabilizing rounds, but, I mean, being able to stun barriers intrinsically is pretty good. But yeah, this is going to get some tweaks here. So, what am I doing? Arc and... No. Stasis and Void. Okay, Stasis... Void, Stasis and Void. Pull that over to here.
Riptide.
Yeah, I do have Riptide on my list. This is old. And it was actually last season where I actually farmed up some Riptides. Okay, how much room do I have in my vault? No room at all. Okay, I should just put that Arcan Strand loadout that I just made, I should put it on my Warlock or something like that. Warlock, Arcan Strand, make some room. That should open up 27 slots or so. 693... 694, 694, 690. Okay, that's not really doing anything. Yeah, so obviously my vault cleaning was pretty ineffective. I just have too much stuff on here. I just need to get all this stuff off so I can start bringing stuff over. Okay, well, I've got nothing on my hunter now for some reason. Make some space on my hunter. I probably could have put the Caraxes on that last loadout instead of Wicked Sister, since I already have a Bittersweet doing the exact same thing. That way I have us surrounded. But okay, well, whatever, I'll deal with the heavies after. Okay, so for Void and Stasis, I want 2 legendary primaries of each. So 2 legendary Void primaries.
I think you'll start deleting some legendary armor and even exotic, since they will become obsolete.
Yeah, that's a good point about the armor. I probably have like I still didn't go through my armor either. That's like a super easy clean out. Like normally I can clean my whole vault in like an hour or two. Like I could probably get rid of like 150 slots off stream, but if I'm doing it on stream, I'm not making any progress at all. If they would just put these darn things in collections along with Ergo Sum, then that would solve a lot of the headache. But yeah, as far as, yeah, see, like I still have all these duplicate exotics that I haven't even gone through yet. Double ACD zeros. But anyways, I'll do that off stream. Okay, so for the Void legendary primary weapons, the two that I'm going to add to this loadout are Insurmountable and Reckless Oracle. I just figured it'd be a pretty good balance there. I was debating on Doom Achelchis, but and then for Stasis, it's Raconteur and Sununa. Sununa is a little bit debatable, but Sununa is extremely good for like red bar ad clear, especially in normal dungeons and raids. Let's see, where is it at? Sununa. I swear I just put it in the vault. There it is. Okay, that. And Raconteur. Just because I want shoot to loot. Basically, every loadout that I make has to have shoot to loot somewhere. Ideally, one in each slot. Where's the damn bow? It must be on one of my other characters. Yeah, it is. Not Archer's Tempo. Headstone, I want this one. Okay. So, 2 stasis primaries. I need Insurmountable as well. Alright. I'll just look on Dim. Where is it? Insurmountable. I'll just go with the universal roll. I've got 2 different ones masterworked, but repulsor destabilizing, so both of these mainly just for staying alive. A bit of ad clear. I feel like it's the weird thing is here, I feel like Insurmountable is going to be the better ranged option over Reckless Oracle, because this is like a precision versus a rapid fire auto rifle, which is like an SMG essentially. Yeah, I don't know. I might end up taking this thing out of my loadout. I don't really like the feel of this Insurmountable, but it's a sidearm, so it can deal with barriers. But yeah, so that's my 2 primaries for each, for Dark and Light, Stasis and Void. Okay, so then I'm going to go with 1 exotic of each. In that case, I'm going to go Le Monarch for primaries, that is, just primaries. Wicked Implement is an option, of course, all the time for overloads and unstops, but not a fan of the way the weapon looks. And there's lots of other options. Alethanum, you can't beat the utility of Alethanum, that's for sure. Le Monarch. I think Le Monarch is still probably my exotic with the most kills. Where is Le Monarch? It's probably on another character. There. Okay, so that's my exotic primaries done. Alethanum and Le Monarch. Le Monarch is going to be good this season because Overload, right? And we don't have any primary, we don't have any specials to deal with overloads unless you've got Chill Clip or Jolting Feedback. So if you want to play on Void, this is basically your only option. And Le Monarch has Unrelenting as well, so it could even be pretty good in the Nether. Okay. Alright, so now I gotta pick a bunch of special weapons. I can pick up to 4 legendary specials for each. So for Void, I've got Velocity Baton, Zealot's Reward, and Valletta. I should be editing this loadout at the same time. Undim, Void and Stasis. Lethanum, Sanuna, Raconteur. Okay. Le Monarch. Done. Okay, save. Apply. No, no, no. Stop, stop, stop. Cancel. Apply to Titan. Okay. Okay, so Velocity Baton, Zealot's Reward, and what's the other special? Valletta F. More than likely I'm going to be using like between 2 and different 3 Velocity Batons, but I'm just going to have one on this loadout. Zealot's Reward, this thing should go burr this season. I was also thinking I kind of want to have a Withering Gaze, but none of these are masterworked yet, and I don't. This one's got charge time, but no liquid or no accelerated. This one does not either. Although I'm thinking that you might want slower charge time with this, so that you can synchronize your Withering Gaze proc while you're charging your shot, right? So that basically your shot releases at the exact same time that Withering Gaze procs. So that might be the strat, is to just go with the longest charge time possible. But yeah, this is definitely a contender to go on the Void loadouts. But as far as Velocity Baton, even though grenade launchers aren't in the artifact, I mean, this is still going to be meta for sure. Demo Attrition Orbs or Unrelenting Attrition Orbs. And this thing I plan on testing versus Subjugators as well. Under-over. I have an under-over bait and switch too. I mean, it's definitely hard to pass up the Attrition Orbs on this thing, but like, I'm curious to see how fast this would melt a Subjugator. Like, I'm probably going to use this on my Void or on my Warlock build with Final Warning, Velocity Baton, and like Edge Transit or something, or Void Linear. But generally, on most builds that I'm going to be using Void and Stasis, I'll probably just go Unrelenting. I think it's just the safe option, that or Demo. But I mean, free heals, especially if I'm going to be farming the Nether a lot and you need healing from your weapons. Okay, so that'll work nicely with Particle Reconstruction, and then Valletta. Where is Valletta?
There's gonna be a special Void Rocket Sidium from GMS.
Yeah, that's on my priority list. As soon as that releases, I'm definitely going to be farming that thing. I think I've got about 7 weapons that are like top priority. Actually, the ones that I put on the thumbnail for this live stream, those 7 weapons are what I consider the #1 priority loot chase for at least for Act 1, right? I'm not concerned about like the Act 2 and the Act 3 weapons yet. I don't really. There's definitely enough loot to chase right now to focus on. But yeah, hopefully we get it like first set of GMs in what, 4 weeks? Okay, where's Valletta? I'm a horrible multitasker. Okay, well there, I've got a Withering Gaze sniper, so that solves that. I don't have a Withering Gaze fusion, but you know, I got one in my vault, so it doesn't matter. But that's a good variety there. Okay, and then for stasis, lots of stasis specials that are worth using here. And basically, yeah. I mean, basically they're all better than any stasis specials, so... Or stasis exotics that are special. So I'm basically going to go with more than 4. And I think I have... Yeah, I've only got 3 void specials. I'm going to go with like 5 or even 6 arc or stasis specials. So I've got Lost Signal. Let's do Void Stasis. Okay. Lost Signal. I'll go with the Unrelenting one for most builds. I'm feeling that. Yep, okay, that one's good. What else? Lingering Dread. Lingering Dread is definitely up for... That one's a little bit questionable. Riptide. I've got 2 Riptides, so which one? Yeah, I'll go with the Chill Clip. Okay, I'm just adding them on dim here, and then I'll just transport them over. Rake Angle, yes, definitely. Need a glaive. Every weapon loadout should have at least 1 glaive. Okay. Tanash's Mastery, yes. Anti-barrier, rocket sidearm, sounds great. Can stun overloads and unstoppables. All 3 champions in 1 weapon. Definitely gonna want that. Tanash's. I guess I'll put on... well, that one's air trigger. I like Deconstruct better, though. So... Stasis. Is stasis. Is stasis. Is it that one? Yeah, that's the one. I'll use air trigger chill clip if I'm doing like GMs, or if like famine is the modifier or something like that, or if I don't want to use special finisher. And then critical anomaly. So critical anomaly again is going to be able to stun all 3 champs, just like in episode echoes with chill clip. Break barriers, stun overloads. That's why I like explosive payload on this, because like you basically be super inaccurate with this thing and still be effective at taking care of all champions because of the AoE. Okay, I think that's it. So save changes, void and stasis, apply to Titan. Okay. I do have a nice auto-loading Vorpal with like max charge time, or minimum charge time, I should say, but this one will do for now. Okay, what else? Now, exotics. So normally it's just like pick 2 special exotics of each element, light and dark, to fill out the loadout, but in this case I picked 3 void ones because they're so darn good. Buried Bloodline, oh, that's going to make a problem here actually. I'm going to run out of space. Choir of 1 and Vex Caliber. I guess I can leave out Vex Caliber, even though it's a glaive and it's going to be in the artifact. Choir of 1's not, but Choir of 1 is like basically just got buffed with destabilizing rounds, right? Wait, what do I have here for... Why do I have two velocity batons? Okay, that's not supposed to be there. Oh, okay, so I don't need to delete one of the ones that I picked. Okay, so Choir of One, I've got two of them. Do I want the Onslaught or do I want Destabilizing? Because can't you with the artifact now, like with precision hits, you just automatically get volatile rounds? Because if that's the case, then Onslaught's probably the better Choir of One. Because then you're just being redundant with destabilizing rounds. And then the other Void special exotic that's really good is what? Vexcalibur. Yep. I mean, Buried Bloodline, obviously that's definitely part of that. Okay, save changes. What is it? Void and Stasis. Okay. And then for... Yeah, okay, so that fills out the Void. I've got quite a lot... Like, normally I would just have, like, 3. If I'm going to carry 9 weapons in my energy slot, you should have 3 exotics, 6 legendaries, right? Because you can only ever have a 1-to-3 ratio of exotics anyways. But I'm making an exception here because there's a lot of good Void exotics. Vexcalibur, like I might just only use that on specific builds, so that could probably...
I was about to change my Onslaught Choir to Destabilizing, but maybe you'll have 2 of them.
Yeah, I literally just crafted the second one with Onslaught, like towards the end of last season, because I intended on doing that anyways, like mainly thinking of Gerfalcons. Like if I'm on Night Stalker with volatile rounds constantly, then obviously Onslaught is the way better perk, right? And so now that basically all builds get access to Gerfalcons or volatile rounds, for this season specifically, Onslaught might be a little bit better. But like I still think Destabilizing is going to be good because, like, especially for ad clear, I mean, it's just automatic. Like, you don't have to build it up or anything. And the thing does so much damage anyways. It's not like you need Onslaught. I mean, Onslaught's really just good on this thing if you're planning on like directing that Onslaught proc onto like a bigger target. But if you're just ad clearing with it, I don't think it really matters. Okay, I got room for one more stasis weapon. Should I bother with another exotic? Because I mean, it's what? Conditional finality. Verglaw Curve would be... I mean, conditional finality unstops, but then again, like, I got chill clip. I got a chill clip glaive. I got a chill clip fusion rifle. I got a chill clip rocket sidearm. Barrier, unstop, all overload. I got chill clip sniper, so I don't need conditional finality. But I do have room for one more. I guess I'll bring over Lingering Dread, because that was originally on my list. That way I have one disorienting GL on this build. Okay.
Eager Scepter is not bad and Trace's got buff.
Yeah, that's true too. It's just I find myself only using Aegers on Cenotaph. And so that's the other thing, like when I make these builds, like I leave out Lucky Pants hand cannons, I leave out 1-2 punch shotguns, I leave out trace rifles typically, just because like those 3 weapon types I typically like, they're very build specific. So if I'm gonna hop on like Strand Titan, then I'm just gonna pull over Tractor and shotguns manually. And then if I'm on Warlock, I'll pull over Aegers. I guess I've used Aegers a little bit on other builds too, but yeah, definitely that'll be fun to test. Aegers on Cenotaph with the buff. Okay, I just need to save the loadout. Save the loadout. Edit. What am I missing here from the dim loadout? Vexcalibur. No. No, I have that. Velocity baton. I don't understand what I'm missing here. Insurmountable. Oh yeah, I don't have insurmountable on this one. Okay, there. That one. And then Lingering Dread. Stasis. Type in is stasis. Okay. Save. Void and stasis apply. Okay. Alright, so that's it for the kinetic slot, or the stasis slot, and the energy slot for void and stasis. Yeah. So I got a pretty good variety there. Okay, so heavies. What did I pick for heavies? Okay, it looks like I picked 7 legendaries and 2 exotics. So Edge Transit, corrective well, I don't have a corrective measure yet, so I'll put a placeholder in there for that. Slammer's not going anywhere. Dimensional Hypotrochoid, this one I don't need. Chill Inhibitor, right? So that's the only 3 stasis weapons. I do have a couple of stasis linears, but they're chill clip ones. I mean, it might be a good idea to have one, but I think there's a good enough assortment of void linears that with actual damage perks. The only time I use the stasis linears with chill clip is on tormentors, and I mean that is yet again another argument to actually have one on here since there's tormentors in the Nether. This commemoration could be the placeholder for corrective measure. So corrective measure is actually going to be an aggressive frame now, because isn't it currently an adaptive like the old one? It's going to be a 600 RPM now according to Light GG, which means that it's probably going to be the best void machine gun. Levy. Okay, this thing I don't care.
Yes. Do you already know what you want on corrective measure?
Yeah.
Rolls.
Yeah, I could tell you what I wrote down actually. Let's see. That was like a number 2 as far as priority for me goes, just because I mean it's a machine gun. It's not like a priority loot chase, but it's definitely gonna be one that I want. I wrote down 2 roles that I want. So I want demo 1 for all, and I want destabilizing with demoralize. Tentatively speaking. Because demoralize is that new perk where I think if you kill an enemy or if you precision kill an enemy, it creates like a weakening blast where it weakens the enemies around it. So destabilize, you're gonna be making everything volatile and weakened with corrective measure with that perk combo, which just sounds way too fun to pass up. Like just throw on a void holster mod on your legs, or use like Marksman's Dodge or Axiom War Rig or what, like however you want to play it, to avoid reloading. Like that would be a hell of a lot of fun. And then demo 1 for all would be kind of like the universal role that I would use mostly, like in the same way that I use Reconstruction Killing Tally, just all around universally good machine gun. Lots of grenade energy, big damage buff. Yeah, so those are the 2 roles that I wrote down for now. But it's going to be tricky to get that. I mean, getting the craftable one will be okay, but the time lost ones look so nice. Like, the thing is, I'm going to have to learn Vault of Glass. Like, I've done Vault of Glass, like, twice, and I didn't learn anything, really. So, yeah, that's going to be fun. But, yeah, I want those time lost variants. And I've seen that you can get like 6 perks on the time lost ones, so that'll be pretty useful. Okay, back to my other worksheet. Okay, so stasis, chill inhibitor, dimensional slammer. Yeah, so those are my only 3 stasis ones. And then for void, I've got edge transit, commemoration, or corrective measure. I've seen some damage testing on retrofit escapade because of the volatile perk. What is it, volatile marksman? I gotta read this thing because yeah, rapid void weapon precision hits grant volatile rounds. That's insane. Like you don't even have to get a kill, right? So I mean, yeah, that just brings retrofit escapade kind of back. Well, I don't know, not really, because I mean, you could still technically use retrofit with your falcons and have constant volatile rounds, anyways, and it's not like meta or anything. Like it does do it. It would definitely be like meta for sustained DPS versus bosses compared to other machine guns. But that's it. It's like you're going to be doing more damage with other heavy options. But I saw Ascross testing that too, retrofit with this perk, and it was basically outputting Thunderlord levels of damage. So I mean that's pretty impressive. Uh, so that might be something that you want to look at as well. But I've got edge transit. Okay, I got the machine gun. Yeah, I know. It was like 1.2 million or something like that on Atheon. It was a lot of damage. Like Thunderlord was like 1.2 as well. They were basically neck and neck. I don't know if there's like another volatile bug like there was back in the day, but okay, geodetic. Let's see. Okay, get rid of that. I'll do this on dim real quick. Get rid of that. As far as a DPS sword goes, for Void and Stasis, for a legendary sword, I'm going to use Geodetic more than likely. So bring that over. And then, what's the other one? Doomed Petitioner, which would be might just be a placeholder for the new linear fusion. Or actually, I could just bring in the new. I think I got the God roll that I was looking for on the linear. Triple tap frenzy. Wait, does this thing? Okay, let me save this. Oh, and I was gonna bring over colony too. So what do I? That's more than 9 weapons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh. Well, something's not right here. Anyway, okay, now I forget what I was looking for. Colony. That's it. Because now supposedly colony is doing like a lot of damage. And does that thing have a catalyst that I need to go get? Because I've never really used colony either. Oh, in fact, I think I even deleted colony, so that I have to fetch that from collections as well. Okay, let me save this real quick. Void and Stasis. Apply to Titan. Why does it keep bringing over this velocity baton? Like, I did not save that in there. I guess I did. Okay, I want the unrelenting one, though. Unrelenting. No, that's repulsor destabilizing. Nope, that's demo attrition orbs. There we go. I don't have... Okay, so missing Valletta on my dim loadout. Let me just put that in there real quick. Valletta, and then what am I missing here? Critical Anomaly? Yeah. Critical Anomaly. I thought everything was in alphabetical order. I guess not. Okay, save changes. Okay, colony. Supposedly colony is good now. Like, it got like a 40% buff. Exotics. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I'm gonna put it on this loadout. I mean, try it out. Oh, and I actually finished the catalyst on it? Oh no, I didn't, of course. But I have the catalyst, at least, unlike Queenbreaker. So I could do that real quick somewhere. Okay, that's it. So that's Void and Stasis done. Basically should have enough variety in there to take care of every single situation on any Void and Stasis build. Okay, so save that. I just need to add colony to the dim loadout. Colony. And then, what time is it? It's 12:25. I guess it'd be under, I'll type in void. Is void. Oh, dim hasn't refreshed yet. That's the problem. Dim doesn't know that I own colony again. Void and stasis. Let's see. Void is void is void. Still doesn't know. Why are you so slow? While dim loads, oh there it is. Okay, done. Save changes, apply. Yeah, so this Eyes Unveiled here. I have Doom Petitioner as well, with like Reconstruction Surrounded, which I'm probably going to switch to Envious Assassin Surrounded. And I've got a few different Doom Petitioner roles, but this Eyes Unveiled doesn't seem to have higher damage perks, which is a bit of a letdown. But and it doesn't have bait and switch because like there's the Dawning one too, Mistral Lift. But this Eyes Unveiled rolls with Frenzy, Withering Gaze in the same column, and that's basically it. It doesn't even have the new perk, Elemental Honing or whatever. So basically Frenzy is the best sustained damage perk on this weapon. I mean, you could look at it as Withering Gaze would be the same as Frenzy as far as damage, but like if you can already weaken the enemy by any other means, then Frenzy's going to be way better. So, and this has liquid coils. I guess I'd prefer accelerated, but and a charge time masterwork. Either one. I don't have either one though. So this is kind of a slow firing Eyes Unveiled. But triple tap. This is the first. I think this is the first adaptive burst with an actual free ammo like perk like triple tap or fourth time's a charm, right? Scintillation doesn't have any. I don't think Mistral Lift does. I don't know much about Mistral Lift, but I don't think it does. Doom Petitioner definitely doesn't. So yeah, I mean, like if you compared this is basically Taipan with triple tap and frenzy, but it has 3 shots. It's an adaptive burst, so it's just doing way more damage. This just power crept Taipan basically completely out of the game. Because the only reason that you would ever use Taipan right now as a Void Linear over like Doom Petitioner or Mistral Lift or this thing is for the total damage, like the total ammo you get. You know, you get a free shot every 3 shots. So yeah, I mean, like, this thing is just... Wait, I thought this was supposed to be a 3-shot. Adaptive burst, isn't it? Oh, it's a precision? Oh, okay, well, okay, never mind. I apologize. I thought the whole time that this was a burst. I don't know why. I'm pretty sure that it said burst in the API or something like that. But okay, so yeah, Taipan still has a... I mean, this is literally just competing with Taipan. But, I mean, you can craft Taipan and put exactly what you want on it, so... But, well, there is the argument to be made for Willing Vessel, right? Because when you deal damage, you get increased charge rate. So that's what I was thinking, that the Origin perk is actually pretty useful on fusion rifles and linears and swords, right? So that's part of why I put the sword, the Strand Sword, as kind of a top priority to chase for loot, because it's going to have an increased charge rate as well. So technically you should be able to put out more heavy attacks and more damage thanks to the Origin trait. But yeah, I think the fusion rifle that rolls with the in the Nether stuff is just crap. I think it's an aggressive or an adaptive frame. It's not a rapid fire. It's not a high impact. It's just not worth chasing. It doesn't even have any good rolls on it. So I think, unfortunately, the Void fusion rifle is just an automatic delete for me. But now that I know that this is a precision frame and not an adaptive burst, this might be an automatic delete as well. I don't know. I guess it could still technically be better than Taipan, but Taipan has Vice Stinger, which can reload the mag. Anyway, but I think that means that I do need to take this out of this loadout. I think I'd rather have Doom Petitioner. Or even, like, I have 2 Mistral Lifts that are decent. Yeah. Okay, get this out. I thought it was an adaptive burst. It's not. That's unfortunate. So, all of the fusion rifles from the Nether are basically crap. Unless you get a 5 out of 5 on that linear, then you can potentially it's better than Taipan. Doom Petitioner, where's it at? Okay, I have like 2 or 3 Doom Petitioners, so it's probably on another character. Yeah. Reconstruction High Ground or Reconstruction Surrounded. I mean, they're both situational.
About Dead Messenger, Telesto and Lawrence Driver, you didn't consider them for your loadouts even after buff.
Well, originally I was excited about Dead Messenger because I misread it, and what happened to all my weapons? Okay, well, let me reread your comment there in a second, Giovanni. I just want to get this Void and Stasis loadout done. Switch that for Doom Petitioner. Yeah, I'll take over the Surrounded. Save changes. Okay, Void and Stasis there. What do I think about Dead Messenger, Telesto, and Lawrence Driver? Okay, so I've never really used Telesto or Lawrence Driver. I have them both, but They were both kind of before my time in the game, so yeah, I'm not super experienced with them. I did see some damage testing though on Lawrence Driver, and it's pretty subpar compared to a lot of the other linears and special linears. Like I think Arbalest is almost better, just as good, and I think Euphony was definitely putting out more damage than Lawrence Driver. I think Cloud Strike even puts out more damage than Lawrence Driver. So I don't like, since I'm only picking like around 2 to 3 exotic specials that are void, Buried Bloodline, Choir of One, those aren't going anywhere. So yeah, so that's where I can't really fit in Lawrence there. Telesto, I guess would be fun to experiment with, but I mean I got this Zealot's Reward with auto loading controlled burst, which will massively put out, and I can use it in the Nether because it's got photo inhibition, so it can do basically more damage to subjugators. But yeah, I mean, like, these are just basic loadouts, so it's not like I'm gonna ignore everything in my vault all season. Like, I'm definitely gonna pull stuff from my vault and change stuff up. It's just like if I feel like logging on and I don't really feel like looking through my entire vault just to play the game, I can just like, hey, I feel like playing Void and Stasis. Let me just pull this Void and Stasis loadout over, and then maybe I'll just tap into my vault every now and then. But I think for now, this is what it's going to look like. And basically I do this so like if I feel like getting on and playing a raid, then I can just jump straight into a raid with this or a GM, right? I mean, it depend on the surges and all that kind of stuff too, but basically would have like all of my bases covered. I can free roam with Eager Edge. I can and then okay, so as far as Dead Messenger goes, yeah, originally I was excited about Dead Messenger because they were like, I was basically expecting that they were going to put incandescent on the waveframe, on the solar, destabilizing on the void, jolt, some kind of jolt effect on arc, but they're not. They're just making it. They're just giving it a 30% damage buff when you apply those types of buffs. Like, so if you're on solar and you apply Scorch to an enemy, then boom, Dead Messenger has 30% extra damage, which, I mean, to me, like, the whole thing with Dead Messenger, like, it doesn't give me, like, I don't get the wow factor from the extra damage. Like, it's more like, if it had cool effects, then I'd be all over it. Especially with being a waveframe. Like, I just generally prefer all of the legendary waveframes because they have stuff like Chain Reaction or Incandescent on Martyr's Retribution, right? Destabilizing on Harsh Language even. And, yeah, Volt Shot on Undercurrent. Like, I'd rather use a legendary special over Dead, or legendary waveframe over Dead Messenger. And the 30% damage buff is not super enticing because it's not like I don't think I'm ever going to be like, oh, I need to use waveframes against a boss, right? I'd rather it just needs enough damage to kill red bars so that it can, like, spread the damage around. I don't really need the single target damage necessarily. So a little bit disappointed with Dead Messenger, but I'll probably give it a shot anyway. Like, I'll try it out.
He'll try Dead Messenger and Falcon, but I see your point.
Yeah, like, it's still in my vault. Like, I never deleted it. I like it. I think I've used it like basically every season, every now and then. Maybe not 83. Oh, that's because this is the crafted version. Like, on the I used the non-crafted version quite a lot back in the day. But yeah. So anyways, I've just got solar and kinetic left to do. But I'm going to try and wrap this up, actually, because it's getting pretty late, and I was just going to do a shorter stream today. Solar and kinetic. But yeah. Solar and kinetic, solar and kinetic. Okay, solar and kinetic, just bringing that over from my spreadsheet. Yeah, so let's see, I've got heliocentric, no hesitation, hung jury, red death, wish ender, malfeasance. So basically every kinetic loadout that I have is going to have wish ender and malfeasance on there, since we don't have primary options. Well, I mean, you could use primary sidearms for barriers, but wish ender I think is just going to be useful to have, and malfeasance is going to be very useful, especially with all the taken stuff too this season. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna call it there because it's getting pretty late, and then I'll probably continue these loadout streams like throughout the season. If anybody's doing the day one dungeon tomorrow, good luck to you. I'm just gonna be casually tuning in, and seeing who's streaming what, see what I can observe. But I don't have time this weekend to partake in the event anyway. So, but yeah, it should be fun. I'm definitely excited to see what it's like and hop in next week at some point. So, anyways, thanks for watching, and I will talk to you guys next time. Take care, Giovanni.